Hello my friends, it's Johnaroth, and today is probably the last Brawl video I'm going to make before the Final Fantasy set comes onto Arena, and then I'm going to focus on some Final Fantasy commanders. So what better way to make a final video before the Final Fantasy set comes out than a mono black deck? Today we're playing with Liliana of the Dark Realms. Liliana is a 4 mana, 2 colorless, 1 black planeswalker who has 3 loyalty, who can do +1 to search our library for a swamp and put it in our hand. Our -3 ability gives a creature +X or -X until the end of the turn, where X is number of swamps you have. And her -6, which actually isn't too hard to get to, you get an emblem with swamps you control give you 4 mana. Every swamp you control gives you 4 mana. So Liliana is a land value planeswalker commander who also has some removal in it. Around this we have a very classic mono black type shell. There's lots of removal spells in here like Shieldred's Edict, Bitter Triumph, some ones that I don't typically use unless I have a planeswalker commander like Drown and Ichor. And then there's a lot of planeswalkers in this deck. We have Karn, we have Sorin, we have Liliana the Veil, Ashiok, Liliana Dreadhorde General. So a lot of really strong planeswalkers. There's not a lot of creatures in this deck because we do have a lot of board wipes. However, the few creatures that we do have include Tiny Bones, who I did a video on, Gifted Aetherborn, Unstoppable Slasher. You can use this as a combo with Bloodletter of Aclazotz to win the game. We also have Skithiryx in this deck. You can use this as in a combo with Liliana because you can have her give +X. And if Skithiryx hits for 10 or more, you basically win the game from there with just poison counters. And then we also have some very strong artifacts like the One Ring, as well as Portal to Phyrexia. So this is a very just classic mono black deck. I love playing mono black. It's my absolute favorite color type deck to play. So let's take Liliana of the Dark Realms into the queue and see if we can truly be swamped. Let's go. Our very first game is against Mythweaver Pock, an alchemy commander that I really can't stand. Our hand has a decent amount of early removal, which we're going to need against a green deck. I will keep this, however, this is going to be a risky game for sure. Let's keep it and see what we can do. Like my opponent's pet. That's pretty cool. Turn 1 Birds of Paradise. Predictable. We're going to kill that. Basically, we're going to kill things of his until we can get out some viable threats. That's kind of my plan here. Let's get out Tiny Bones. We could potentially steal his bird. Just gonna block with the grazer. I'm going to put down the file. He's going to be able to cast his sad commander, unfortunately. So let's exile his commander. We're going to swing in with Tiny Bones. Steal his Birds of Paradise. Okay. Our opponent has a lot of threats here. I'm going to swing in with Tiny Bones first. See if he blocks. Yeah, I wouldn't have blocked either. I'm going to decline on that. We're going to tap the Birds of Paradise, and we're going to cast Damnation to clean the board up of all of his stuff. Okay, he's going to cast his sad commander again. We're going to kill his commander. The question is, what do we get out onto the battlefield? I think we're going to go for ramp here. Let's go for Liliana. Start plussing her.
Ruining your day is good. Watch me work.
This looks like the best swamp. Gonna summon Mythweaver Pock again. Luckily, he doesn't get much bonus out of that specific one because of the fact that he had put down a legendary land. We're going to take another land, put it onto the battlefield. We're going to get rid of Mythweaver Pock again. I think we've used up our opponent, though, in a lot of ways. Let's get Soren onto the battlefield now. We're going to draw a card. We'll take that land.
Dire times call for dire tactics.
Our opponent has a ton of mana, but he doesn't do anything, so that's good. Let's get another land.
Witness my power.
We'll put down this one. Let's have Soren draw another card. We'll take the Jet Medallion. We'll cast that. We're going to cast Shieldred as well as a Murderous Rider. So now we have a good board presence here. Going to start hurting our opponent. Let's draw another card. I'm going to do a slightly unorthodox move here. I'm going to do -7 or 8 on Mythweaver Pock. And then we're going to do a 2-point Toxic Deluge to kill him but keep our creatures alive. Put down a Palantir. Put down a Solar Transformer. And now we're going to swing in with Shieldred. Hit our opponent. We don't need any more lands. So we'll scry those to the bottom. Opponent has so much mana. But cast Verdant Rejuvenation, which does nothing because he has no creatures onto the battlefield. And yeah. Good game, Mythweaver Pock. Second game is against Trelashara Moondancer, so a a life gain type deck. This hand is okay. It's not great. I'm gonna mulligan. This hand is worse. I'm gonna mulligan again. This hand is a little better. Not great. I am going to put Soren back. My first goal of this game is to get to black market connections, essentially. Luckily, we can kill Trelasara pretty easily with Liliana. So let's do that.
Those who get in my way
I'll
tend
keep him
to
off his
regret
feet
it.
a little bit.
I've always hated crowds.
Hopefully. Opponent's thinking. Opponent's gonna cast a Giver of Runes, gain some life, as well as a Conclave Mentor, gain some life again. We are more than likely going to lose Liliana, but I have to get out the black market connections. We need the speed and the ramp for sure. What do I do here? I think we're going to just make him get rid of a card. We'll get rid of the blot out. We'll have to be careful though. Okay, so he discarded a Solitude. That's pretty good. We're gonna have to be careful to keep remembering about the Giver of Runes because he can give protection to his creatures.
Oh, that's my cue to leave.
Our opponent may be stuck on mana, which proves to her. Okay, so he's our Ranger Captain. If we can find a board wipe, this game is over. I think we can easily win from there. But that's the real question. Can we find a board wipe? Black Market Connections is going to be huge for us. I love that card. And of course, we're going to use all the modes. Let's see what we can do. So we cannot cast non-creature spells this turn. That's perfectly fine. I'm gonna go for all the modes. Do we get out Skithirex, or alternately, do we cast some spells on his turn and remove the threats? I think I'm going to hold back for now. We're going to wait, and then we're going to put a stop at the beginning of his turn. Let's cut down the Giver of Runes. He's going to give the Giver of Runes protection from black, I'm assuming, for the turn. It's perfectly fine. Our opponent is still struggling with mana, which is proving to be advantageous for us. Gets out an Esper Sentinel. Gonna gain a life. We are gonna go for all the modes again. Let's get out Liliana so we can get some more. I'm going to just let him draw a card. It's fine. Let's get a swamp.
Best thing about zombies is their adoring obedience. I've decided you're in my way.
Now let's kill the Esper Sentinel. He already drew his card, so he's not getting another one. Gonna protect it. Wow. Okay. Let's see what our opponent has in his hand. Let's use a Thought Seize here. I'm going to take away the Skyclave apparition so he cannot get rid of Liliana or anything else of ours. We are low on life, unfortunately, so we're going to have to be very careful this turn and going forward. Yeah, but we've got this game locked down. On our turn, we can get another land on the battlefield. We'll get some more treasure with the black market connections. Pretty soon we can get out Skithiryx and then use the combo of Skithiryx and Liliana to deal 10 poison counters to him from the air. So I think we do have this game. Even if he got out the Righteous Valkyrie, we could just use the Baleful Mastery on it. So really good game. Game is against Plagon, Lord of the Beach, blue-white, ugh, Azorius. Plagon, basically, they're going to want to get out a lot of creatures with high toughness, which allows him to basically draw cards. He can also make the toughness into the damage. Let's cut down the Guide of Souls that he has. We don't want that. Next, let's get out the Gifted Aetherborn so we can start putting a little bit of pressure on our opponent. Hopefully. This turn we're going to cast Phyrexian Arena, hopefully. Our opponent has a Manatize, so we don't get that. I'm just going to start hurting my opponent though. Let's swing in with our Gifted Aetherborn. And then let's try to bring out a Winter Moon. It's just all counter spells. That's all it really is. Gonna swing in, hit our opponent again. Pass the turn. Opponent's gonna draw another card. Gifted Aetherborn is putting in work for us, though. It's really good. Opponent is going to get out Plagon. Let's kill the Inspector so he doesn't get the advantage for that. He will get to draw a card. I'm hoping we draw a Swamp so we can have some ways of stopping our opponent. And our opponent scoops. Yeah, he's going to have to get rid of a card of his hand. We do have two ways in our hand of getting rid of Plagon. If we draw a Swamp, we can cast them both. And our opponent's already lost almost 10 of their life. So we're just going to keep hitting with the Gifted Aetherborn and keep gaining life. Hopefully get out Liliana and keep gaining Swamps. So, really good game. Our next game is against Marwyn the Nurturer. We do get to go first. We have some ramp, Palantir, and a board wipe, so I am going to keep this. Marwyn the Nurturer is a 1/1 elf. Whenever another elf you control enters, you put a +1/+1, and then you can basically tap her for as much mana as you have +1/+1 counters on her. It's really powerful. I have seen some Marwyn decks where if you find a way that you can untap her over and over again, basically you get almost unlimited mana and you're just continually casting elves. Okay, so here's a Delighted Halfling, so we've already begun on this. Opponent's going to use a Reclamation Sage to get rid of the Arcane Signet. That was a pretty good move. I'm going to cast Palantir, so hopefully we can start drawing some cards. I'm going to scry the Winter Moon. That won't affect him, but Bitter Triumph would be good. So he takes 2. Opponent's going to summon Marwyn, hit us for 2. Going to cast Liliana. Now Liliana could potentially die getting this swamp if he attacks her with everything, but we will get a board wipe out of this, which is pretty ideal. See what he does. Opponent's going to take another 3. Opponent is going to have just an... let's see what he does. Let's see if he's going to use Marwyn to... I hope he... Okay, so he is going to get out another elf. I don't think that might not have been a good move for our opponent. Let's wipe the board here. Now we're going to draw another swamp. That's the problem with elf decks. They're really powerful, but 1 or 2 board wipes and they struggle a lot to get back on track. Gonna get a Sky Shroud Lookout and a Lore Master, but yeah, we are going on our turn. We're going to summon Liliana, the Dreadhorde General, and then we're going to kill both of his elves, get another swamp, and it's basically over for our opponent at that point. So elf decks can be really strong. It's good to have some sort of early board removal to clean the board off, and then they struggle to get back on track. So really good game. Opponent is a Clement deck. So basically he gives +1/+1 counters to creatures in his hand. We do have a 1 board wipe, and Karn can help us get some card advantage. Jet Medallion makes our spells cheaper. What I'm hoping for is a couple board wipes. We'll probably end up taking some damage from his creatures for a little while, more than likely. There's a Guide of Souls. I'm going to put down Castle Lochthwain. I'm just basically going for ramp in the very beginning here. Summons Clement. Gonna put down a land, put down a solar transformer. Opponent is already ramping pretty heavily. Gonna specialize Clement, get out a Kitchen Imp. Unfortunately, I think we've already run out of time to not use our board wipe here. We just took a massive amount of damage. Going to put down the arcane signet. We're going to use the board wipe here to get rid of all of his stuff. That should help us, keep us alive, but we've taken already 14 damage of life loss, which is kind of crazy. See what our opponent does from here. Our opponent's gonna cast a Witch Enchanter to kill our Arcane Signet off. I'm gonna put down a land. Get out the Jet Medallion. Then I'm going to cast Liliana. Now, Liliana's going to take a hit from the Witch Enchanter, but she will get us a land, which is important. We do have some removal on our turn for some of these guys he's inevitably going to summon. Opponent has enough mana to kill off Liliana. Perfectly fine.
Even more powerful next time.
I'm assuming he'll attack us with the Witch Enchanter. He does. Let's see what he has in his hand. Necro Dominance. We're not going to let him get that. Let's get out Karn. And let's create a token just as a blocker, and then I'm going to kill the Witch Enchanter so that he doesn't have anything to attack us with. He can summon his commander again if he so wishes. Opponent's eyeing Karn, but yeah, we've got too much value. If he summons his commander, we'll just kill it with the Blood Chief's Thirst, get out Liliana, get more lands, and then start drawing more cards with Karn. At this point, we've got the game locked down, even at 8 life. There's not going to be a lot he can do from here. Really good game. That Toxic Deluge really made that game for us. Really important to have at least one type of board wipe when dealing with a creature-heavy deck if you don't have a creature-heavy deck. Good game. This game we're fighting against Ketramos, the New Dawn. Very, very popular commander. Basically, it's a 4/4 that whenever you exile things on your turn, you lose 1 life and you draw another card. So it's a very card value centric type commander. We're going to cast Jet Medallion to make our spells cheaper. Gonna reprieve it, perfectly fine. His turn, he's going to cast Ketramos. In our turn, we're going to cast Black Market Connections. Opponent keeps eyeing our Black Market Connections. Probably has some sort of exile effect. Okay, he's going to Fragment Reality. So that we get a Tiny Bones. He's going to use Ossification on Tiny Bones to draw another card. We're going to put down the Jet Medallion. Pass the turn. He's going to Perilous Snare the Jet Medallion, draw another card. Ketramos draws another card. He draws another card and is able to now attack. Come on, you're wasting my time. Let's go. And our opponent concedes. I don't know what happened there. But what we were going to do is we do have a couple sacrifice cards in our hand. We could, even if we didn't draw a land, we could put down the Fel the Profane as a untapped land and then use the Invoke Despair to kill off his Ketramos as well as get Tiny Bones back onto the battlefield. He's going to need at least 2 turns to, or maybe 1 turn to get another Ketramos on the battlefield. Then we have him sacrifice the commander again with Blasphemous Edict. At that point, I'm hoping we have out Liliana, and then we can do a net -4/-4 to him, to his commander to kill him again. He does have a ton of cards, so I'm not quite sure why he quit. He wasn't in a bad state, but who knows. Good game, Ketramos. Thank you, my friends, for watching another one of my videos, this one featuring Liliana of the Dark Realms. Any mono black deck that you can play, I am just all about. I would put Liliana of the Dark Realms about mid-B tier. She's very strong at getting you the resources you need to cast some of the bigger spells in the deck, and if you can use her ultimate, then you pretty much have unlimited mana going forward for the rest of the game, which is amazing. You can just cast her again, do minuses, etc., and just keep going and win the game. The only types of decks that you will struggle with will be some blue type control decks or super aggressive red or green decks that attack from turn 1, turn 2. That's why it's so important to have so many board wipes in your deck, as you saw in some of the games that I played. The deck list is in the description below. Please don't forget to like. please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to leave a comment talking about Liliana or Magic or the new Final Fantasy set that's coming out, or a song that you would like me to sing to you in my next video. I'm not going to sing you any songs, but you could pretend like I will. Thank you so much for watching my video. Have a great day.